You don't need more content. You need your story. In today's episode of the Fear No Video Show, I'm going to share with you how you need to show up for you and how your life experience is your visibility superpower. And also, I'm going to tell you what me getting stuck in quicksand has to do with you being the powerhouse that you are. So, hit play. Let's do this. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Fear No Video Show. I'm your host, Jasmin Bryant, your brand visibility strategist who helps women over 40 get over themselves, get out of their own way to show up and be visible and make money. And if you're new to me, I am a TV professional with over 30 years of experience in front of and behind the camera. I have been a Hollywood trained actress, a reporter, an anchor, and a TV producer for pretty much my whole life. So believe me when I say I know what I'm talking about when it comes to making good television and being who you are and being on camera and being more confident. So I want to talk with you today about something that's a little unexpected, and it's quicksand. And the idea to talk about the quicksand really came to me because I wanted to share with you why it's important to tell your story and why your story matters to your customers, to your potential clients, to anyone who's watching you that you want in your orbit. So I got stuck in quicksand once. Really, once is all that you need to get stuck in quicksand. But I got stuck in quicksand once. This was probably 15 or so years ago. I was in Central America walking through the jungle. That's the first problem, walking through the jungle. Walking through the jungle with my family on this log, and I slipped off. I'm not very athletic, and I slipped off the log and got stuck in quicksand. And let me tell you, your girl freaking panicked, okay? Um, I panicked. I did not. I mean, what do? You see all of these things on television, on movies, like Indiana Jones. He gets stuck in quicksand, and he's like up to his neck. And I'm like, I'm going to die in the middle of this jungle in quicksand. Like, who does that? And one of the things is number one, quicksand, you don't sink as quickly as you think you would. It's not like the movies where, you're in it, 30 seconds later, you're struggling to breathe. But you do have some panic. At least I did. And one of the things that I learned from this experience is the harder you pull, because my aunt, my uncle, and our guide, they were trying to yank me out of the quicksand. And the harder you pull, the harder the quicksand grabs you and pulls you down more. You have to leverage yourself in a way so that you kind of go out that way as opposed to, just kind of being pulled up straight, just straight up. And so, why do I tell you this? I tell you this not just because it's a funny story, because again, who gets stuck in quicksand? But it's it reminds you that sometimes you can feel stuck in your business. Sometimes you can feel like you're drowning in this quicksand, and the harder you push and pull to get out of it, the situation, the harder it is to actually get out of it. You just sink more. And it's counterintuitive, right? Like you think, okay, I'll just go harder, 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 more force, more this, more that. And it doesn't actually help. It hinders. Um, so, again, pulling harder just makes you feel more stuck. I mean, you literally are more stuck in quicksand at least. And so when you're in your business, if you're trying to be on camera, you might panic. And, you force yourself to be perfect. You force yourself to mimic others, to be like the influencers that you see online that you might follow or just randomly, they pop up in your For You section. But that just only sinks you more because you're not being who you are. And so, so again, what got me out of that quicksand, right? It wasn't just me going full steam ahead, that was just going to make me, fall in more. It's using the tools that I had, and those tools were the people around me at that time and, supporting me. So you have the tools of repurposing. You have, your admin team. If you have a team, you have, a lot of support if you want it. Um, and you have different tools, but one of the biggest tools in your toolbox as a business owner who is trying to be more visible so that you can make money and serve the people that you want to serve, part of your toolbox, the biggest tool in your toolbox is your story. It's you. Your stories are what make you unique. Your stories are why people connect with you. Um, People will say, well, why do I tell my story? It's not about me. It's about the widgets that I make, or it's about the clients that, I guide through their transition from, corporate to, entrepreneurship, or it's about, the purses that I make, or whatever it is. But what a lot of business owners don't get is we're not Target, we're not Walmart, we're not, Gucci, we are not, Starbucks. We're not these big brands where the story doesn't matter. People are going to buy because it's a culture. It's not necessarily oh, this is the best coffee I've ever had. I'm going to buy from this coffee company. It's more of, well, there's five on this block and I know it. I'm comfortable. I'm just going to go there. Everybody else goes there. It's like, why do you have an iPhone? Because everybody else has an iPhone. That sort of thing. That's not where we are, most of us, right? And so your story matters, who you are matters because people buy from people. And your story, the real you, your unique journey, that becomes your lifeline. And so instead of forcing that persona of, you're being you're being inauthentic, you're being someone that you might emulate, someone who might be in your same business, and you're like, well, they do it this way, so I'm going to do it that way. Lean into who you are because when you share your journey, when you share your stories, when you share the things that make you you, the things that make you tick, then, sorry, you start to build trust. So when you are sharing who you are, when you're sharing your journey, you are sharing and building trust, you are building relatability, and you're building loyalty. So maybe one day you will be the Starbucks of your industry. You know, you just don't know, but your audience can see themselves in you. And when they connect with you, then they'll trust you to help them solve their problem because that's really what you do. Whether you are, no matter what it is that you do, if you're a hairdresser, you're solving the problem of my hair doesn't look great, so I need someone to make it look good. Or you're solving the problem of I want to go from red to blonde, so but you have to show people who you are and how they can trust you, why they want to trust you. So you've got your story, or why you want to tell your story, but you're like, Jasmine, no one wants to hear what I have to say. You might be thinking, I don't have anything interesting about me. There is no story worth telling. You do. So I want you to stop right there and I want you to think about a couple of things. And I'm going to look at my notes probably because I don't always remember things. And if you watch me any length of time, you will know that I have the memory of a goldfish. That's just how it is. Um, so when you're trying to tell your story or figure out what the story is that you want to tell, then I want you to think about a couple of things. So one, ask yourself, what's a challenge that shaped you into who you are today? So what's a challenge that has shaped you into who you are today? Maybe it was so maybe you are a personal trainer, right? And I'm going to use a real life example of one of my former trainers. He was overweight as a kid. He went into the military and got fit and and fell in love with working out and the results that he got. And so he remembered when he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do after the service, he remembered how he felt as an overweight teenager who was picked on and bullied and not feeling good inside. And so he decided he's going to become a personal trainer so that he can help other people to feel good in their bodies. So that was his challenge and that was his pivot. And so that's part of his story. So now if you're looking for a personal trainer and you are, not fit and you want to just feel better, who are you going to go with? Are you going to go with, the person who is just assigned to you at your local, big box gym? Or are you going to go with someone who may be able to relate to the struggles that you have, both physically and mentally? Because let's be honest, that's a big mental thing too when you decide that you want to, work out. And I'm going to get off my soapbox. But so anyway, so all that to say, that was his challenge. That was his story. So that's what he shares with people when he is talking to them and getting new clients, and new customers. And his audience sees themselves in him and they tend to gravitate toward him. So they trust him to solve their problem. I trusted him to solve my problem. You know what I mean? So that's why you tell your story. So think of, a challenge that shaped you. What do people always ask you about? So Fear No Video was born out of people asking me how to create content, how to record a video. Um, I've been a journalist since I was 15 years old. And one of the things when I was a health coach, and also when I was an essential oils educator, the two went hand in hand. I would record live streams. I would do videos demonstrating different things, whether it was something with my essential oils or like how to make almond milk. But every single time I did a video, every single time I did a live stream, I gained customers. I made money. So people saw that and they're like, well, show me the way. How do I do this too? So that's how Fear No Video was born. That became, my everyone asking me, how do I do X, Y, and Z? How do I, and this was like years ago when we were just starting to really do live streams, if you weren't like an influencer on YouTube, not YouTube, on Facebook. So how do I go live? So I taught workshops on how to go live and how to craft your story, how to pick your video cameras and all those things. So what do people ask you about? When you think about what they ask you about, boom, that's your story. And that's probably your business too, if we're honest, right? Um, so I want you to think about these three ways that you can start using your story today. And I don't want you to feel like you're oversharing because that's the other thing too. Um, I'm a very private person, and people might not know that because I'm online all the time. I'm recording content all the time. And I share stories about my life quite often. But I am also a very private person. So you don't have to overshare. You don't have to tell anybody things that you don't want them to know. Um, there's an influencer who I follow sometimes, because I like some of her content. but she will tell you everything about her life, things that I really don't want to know about. Um, and then she gets embarrassed about it later, it seems. But so you don't have to do that. So you don't have to overshare. So I want you to reflect on a moment that taught you something that's key, something that your audience will relate to. So like with my trainer, his, reflection was, I was an overweight bullied teenager who found physical fitness and got fit, and so now I'm helping other people. And one of the things that I will tell you, like as someone who was his client, he did not tolerate other people bullying anyone in the class who was not in shape, who was overweight, or both, right? Like he totally didn't do that. And a lot of trainers that I found, because I had a lot of trainers, they weren't really into that. It was very much gym bro culture with a lot of those trainers that I had, and this guy totally the opposite of that. Um, so, but that, and he brings that on with his, with his attitude when he's doing his content online. It's great. So, so how, think of something that taught you, you know, something, and that's key to your business. And so that could be a good story for you. Um, Connect with that moment and you connect that moment to the problem that you solve. See, this is where I should really look at my notes so that I don't um, go off on tangents. But you want to connect that story to the problem that you solve. So, my story in the beginning, I talk about the quicksand and pushing and pulling and getting stuck and dragged down. And so I connect that to the problem that I solve, which is helping you to show up for your business more powerfully and with intention and without the fear, without the overwhelm, without the disconnect to your audience. And how do you do that? By not pushing so hard and pulling yourself deeper, deeper into the sinkhole of quicksand. Um, so, so that's how you take your story, connect it to the problem that you solve. And then the last thing that I want you to do when we're talking about telling your story is practice sharing it. And you can practice sharing it in small ways. I'm not saying, if you're never going live, you're never doing videos, everything is like faceless. I'm not saying I want you to jump out today and, go balls to the wall with live streams on like all your platforms. Start small. You can do it on camera, just grab your phone and just, hey, this is my story, and tell it to yourself, put it in a post, a carousel or something until it feels natural for you. And then you can have a couple of different stories too in the back of your mind. Sorry. So I want you to think, this is where we'll kind of end this today, but I want you to really think, what's one moment in your life where it shaped you into who you are. This is your homework, by the way. That's your gold mine. Okay, your story is your gold mine. And then I want you to start sharing it and watch how it connects you to the people that you're meant to serve. And to make this a little bit easier, because we love easy here at Fear No Video, I am going to have a little worksheet for you that just kind of breaks down step by step, um, how to figure out what the story is that you want to share. Because no matter how boring you think you are, there is something in your life experience that will help someone else, and you're going to share it, boo. You're going to share it. So this worksheet, it's quick. It'll take you, just a few minutes. It's not like a book like War and Peace. It's a one page little worksheet, but it's going to show you, step by step, do some exercises on how to, decide what your story is, how to craft your story, and then how to share your story so that you can connect with the folks that you are meant to serve. So you can click the link in the show notes to grab that. And let me know what's on your mind, and I would love to do an episode about something that is burning deep in your question box. And, like, share, click, subscribe, all the things. And I will see you next time, my friends. Bye.